Okay, in a square, all four sides are the same length. So if the perimeter is 36, we can divide that by 4 to get each side. So 9, 9, 9, and 9. Those are the side lengths. And in a square, obviously that's a 90-degree angle. And then this bisects the angles. So this would be a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle. So we can take this side length and multiply by square root of 2 to get the diagonal. So the answer is 9 square root of 2. Another way to do this, if you forgot about special right triangles or you didn't make that association, is to find this diagonal. You could use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And like this is your a and b. 9 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. You get 162 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. And square root of 162 is 12.7. Look over to the answer choices. 12.7 isn't there. Instead, they simplified this square root. You could simplify it if you remember how to do that, but what I often did in testing when I was a student is instead of trying to simplify this, is just multiply these and see what decimal it comes out to. So square root of 2 times 6 is 8.48. And then square root of 2 times 9 is 12.727, or what I got here. So this matches this, so therefore this is the answer. So if your answers look like this, what I'm saying is just get the decimal and compare it to what you got, and then you can narrow it down from there. Okay, this one is a transformation one. It says the triangle is translated 4 units to the left and 5 units up. What are the coordinates of the image of point J? So if it's 4 units to the left, that's x minus 4, and 5 units up would be y plus 5. We could use the coordinate rule. So if we take our original, it's just talking about J, is at -2, 1, and we use the coordinate rule x plus 4, x minus 4, y plus 5. -2 minus 4 would be -6, and 1 plus 5 would be +6, and this is the answer for J prime. The other way to do it is just move the coordinate 4 units to the left, 5 units up. So J, we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 units up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it lands right here, and that is indeed at -6, 6. It just kind of runs into that, but you could do it that way as well. Okay, then moving over here, number 24, it says 2 parallel lines, M and N, are cut by a transversal T as shown in the figure below. It says that measure of angle 2 is 2x plus 7, so I'll label that. If this was on a computer screen, I might draw this out and then label it so I can see where everything lands. And then measure of angle 7 is 3x minus 13. What is the measure of angle 7? Okay, well, I see alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. So therefore, I can set these equal to solve for x. So I can do 3x minus 13 equals 2x plus 7. And I'm just going to solve for x here. X minus 13 equals 7. And I get x equals 20. It doesn't ask for x though, so be careful because it's in the answer choices. It asks for the measure of angle 7. So measure of angle 7 is 3x minus 13. So I'm going to take 20 and plug it in for x. 60 minus 13 is 47. So as you can see, these problems aren't super complex or complicated. These are more like level 3 problems. So yeah, anybody can get these right to get a level 3. Then number 25, following information is known about this quadrilateral ABCD. What must be true about quadrilateral ABCD? So it wants to know whether it's a rhombus, rectangle, trapezoid, or parallelogram. Just considering the different shapes, a rhombus is a shape that has all the sides congruent. A rectangle would be more like this, just kind of showing a visual. A trapezoid, think of this, and then a parallelogram would be like this. Okay, so it says that BC is parallel to AD. So if I just draw a quadrilateral and label it with these points, A, B, C, D, it says BC is parallel to AD. And when I labeled this, I made sure to put the letters in order, like clockwise around the shape. So BC is parallel to AD. That actually happens in all of these shapes, so we can't narrow it down yet. It says AB is not congruent to CD. So, like, this might be longer. So these are parallel, but AB and CD are not congruent. So I'm thinking it looks more like this. So in a rhombus, the opposite sides are congruent, so it can't be that. A rectangle, opposite sides are congruent, can't be that. It could be a trapezoid, which is kind of what I drew. And parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent, so if AB is not congruent to CD, it can't be any of those, so it has to be a trapezoid. The last thing it says is CDA is a right triangle. I didn't draw that here, but a trapezoid can look like this, and that would make CDA a right triangle. So it is C. I feel like I need another color because all the colors are blending together. Okay, the next one, it says how much paper is needed to cover a rectangular bulletin board that is 29 inches wide and 37 inches high. So I draw the bulletin board, 29 inches wide, 37 inches high. How much paper is needed? So we'll find the area of this. Area of a rectangle is just length times width. So it would be 29 times 37, and it comes out to 1,073 inches cubed. Okay, when you're done with that, just flip to the next page. We're going to continue. So here it says you have a scale drawing of the side of a house. What is the best estimate of the area of the side of the house? And it says each little square is 36 feet squared. So what we're going to do is just find the number of squares, the area in squares, and then once we have the area, we can multiply by 36. So I'm going to break it up into two parts, a rectangle and a triangle, and find the area of each. So for this rectangle, there's 4 units here and then 5 here. So 4 times 5 would be 20, so there's 20 squares here. You could also count them, I guess, if you wanted to. Okay, and then for the triangle, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So the base here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And then the height of the triangle, 1, 2, 3 units. Area equals 1/2. The base 5, height 3. Half of 15 is 7.5. This is for the triangle. So this is 7.5 here. And then to find the area of this whole thing, we can just add 20 plus 7.5, which is 27.5 feet or units squared. And then once we have the number of units, Chris, I've asked you to be quiet, please. Thank you. Once we have the number of squares, we can multiply by 36 feet squared per unit. 36 equals. Okay, multiply these two numbers and we get 990 feet squared. It says estimate, so I want to choose C. Okay. The next one has to be a rotation. These are the rotation coordinate rules. You may want to memorize this. or you can memorize the concept, but write this down because it might be easier just to memorize the coordinate rules. So this stands for 90 degrees counterclockwise, so 90 degrees this way, or negative 270 clockwise would put it in the same location. 180 degrees would be like 2 turns, and whether you're going counterclockwise or clockwise, it goes in the same spot. And then 270 degrees counterclockwise would be like 3 turns, or negative 90 degrees clockwise would be like 1 turn this way. And if I was trying to memorize this to the point where I could write it down, I probably wouldn't write down all this detail. I would just say, okay, 90 is negative y, x. 180 is negative x, negative y. And then I would memorize that 270 is y, negative x. And just get to a point where I could write this down and then know what it means. Okay, so it says that this needle is rotated 180 degrees clockwise. What are the coordinates of point A after the rotation? So 180 degrees clockwise would be like 2 turns and put it over here. Where exactly is that location? You could use the coordinate rules. So A is 6, 8, and then A prime, 180 degrees, would be negative 6, negative 8. So negative x, negative y. So that would be this. The other way to do it, if you didn't have your rules memorized, is to use the concept. So if this is rotated 180 degrees about the origin, then the angle from this point to this to the new point should be 180 degrees. So you could technically draw a line like this. It would be a 180 degree angle. And if it was a 90 degree angle, you just use the corner of your reference sheet or something like that to make a 90 degree angle. And then it has to be the same distance from the origin. So this, I'm like measuring it here. This is the length of my line, and I can put it at the origin and get the exact spot my new point is going to be. And if measured exactly correct, it will come out exactly correct. Okay, so here, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's my point. Negative 6, negative 8. So you could use the concept as well, and then just use your like scratch paper to make either a 180 degree angle or a 90 degree angle, or if it's 270, it would just be like 3 90 degree angles. But anyways. Okay, next one. Have a refrigerator. It says this is your old refrigerator. Frances bought a new refrigerator to replace the old one. Her new refrigerator has the same length and width as the old one, but is 8 inches higher. How many more cubic inches of space are in Frances's new refrigerator compared to the old one? So we have our old one and our new one. And we're going to find the volume of each and then subtract to find out how much bigger the new one is. So the old one, the dimensions are right here. Volume of a rectangular prism, length times width times height. So volume equals 30 times 36 times 62. And that comes out to 66,960 inches cubed. And then for the new one, it is the same length, like 30 times 36, and then the height is 8 inches taller, so 62 plus 8, which would be 70. So 30 times 36 times 70. And so the volume comes out to 75,600 inches cubed. And it wants to know the difference, like how many more cubic inches is the new one compared to the old. So we have to subtract. And we get 8,640 inches cubed. Down. Okay. The next one, it says a cereal box is these dimensions. A cereal box would be a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism, kind of like the refrigerator. Picture a cereal box. It's like this, right? So it's saying that the cereal box is 10.4 inches high, 7.4 inches long, and 2.3 inches wide. I may have labeled the wrong points, but the volume is just length times width times height. So it's just 2.3 times 7.4 times 10.4. Multiply the three numbers and we get volume equals 177.008 inches cubed. Okay, 31. John measured the sides of 4 triangles. He measured the side lengths of one triangle incorrectly. Which triangle was measured incorrectly? So we're trying to see which side lengths actually make a triangle. Remember the two shortest sides added together has to be greater than the one longest side. So like A plus B, the two short sides, has to be greater than C, the longest side. Okay, so when I look at these numbers, 6 plus 6, that would be 12. Is that greater than 15? No, so it's probably this one that's not the triangle, but I want to check. 8 plus 9 would be 19. Is that greater than 10? Yep, that's a triangle. 1 plus 18, 19. Is that greater than 18? Yes. And then 11 plus 15 would be 26. Is that greater than 24? Yep. So this is the one that's not a triangle. Not a triangle. And when you're done with that, flip it to the next page. Okay, it says Mari created the circular window represented below. She knew that angle 1 and angle 2 were supplementary. So 1 and 2 are supplementary. They form a linear pair. We can see that. And that 1 and 3 are equal because they're vertical angles. Yes, we can see that too. What must be true about 2 and 3? 2 and 3, they're a linear pair. Like they make a straight line together. Like here's 2 and 3. So 2 plus 3 must equal 180. Angle 2 plus angle 3 must equal 180. They're supplementary. Supplementary. So that's what I'm probably looking for. Sorry, that looks kind of not clear. Measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3 must equal 180. Okay. So are 2 and 3 equal? Maybe, but we can't prove it. 2 and 3 complementary. No, complementary means they add to 90 degrees, but they actually add to 180. So no. 2 and 3 are supplementary, probably. 2 and 3 are both right angles, maybe, but we can't prove it. So it's just C. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do now is 2 things. You're going to use the video to fill in the next set of problems 33 to 42, and you have homework number 2 on Schoology. What I would actually recommend is to do this first, because while you're in class, you can ask questions where this is just like copying and listening. So you can grab a computer. I would start the homework first and then maybe do this for homework instead. Okay. Grab a laptop. If you need me, let me know.